No. No.
No! Dearly beloved, we are gathered here today to get through this thing called unsubscribe. Electric buttons sometimes confusing and sometimes it's deliberate, but I'm here to tell you, there's something else. The algorithm. A never-ending scroll of videos. You can always watch the beast, day or night. So when you subscribe to that one YouTuber, you know the one, Dr. Who and his salty, instead of asking him how much of his video is left, let him reach into your mind, baby. Cause on YouTube, things are much harder without salty ham. If you unsubscribe, you're on your own. And if the unsubscribe button tries to bring you down, go crazy. Punch that bell once more.
We are continuing to review all 4 stories in the 25th season of Doctor Who because it's fun and I don't feel like growing up. And today we are looking at one of the more infamous episodes, mired in some really dumb controversy surrounding the inspiration for both of our main villains, one because people thought it looked too much like something else and the other not enough like something else. I have only ever seen this episode one time and the only memory that I have of it is the Kandy Man. But I think the main takeaway is this. If you haven't figured out how things work yet, life is pretty f***ing unfair. You know how I know? Because this amazing creation got saddled to this story. And yeah, that makes me sad, Helen A. Come at me. Feel free to bring Fifi, because I am hungry. On Terra Alpha, which is an Earth colony at some point in the future, this sad lady decides fuck it and sits down at a bench to sulk when this creeper barks, "Do you want to talk about it?" Like someone who may decide to wear your skin later. She tries to shut him up, but he's insistent that she join his group of killjoys, and then gives her his card, which is really just some ruse because he works for the people that take sad like this one away. This group of mean girls comes out, dressed like they're ready to attract some boys at the arcade, but really just pulling off one of those sad old people mall walking sessions to get moving and be healthy, when they arrest our sad lady. The TARDIS shows up and Ace and the Doctor pop out, talking about dinosaurs. Ace loves dinosaurs. So all you 12-year-old boys that think she's hot, you guys got something in common. They sit on one of the drabbest stairs ever, and Ace says things are too happy because there's elevator music playing, and the Doctor says that he's been hearing about some disturbing going on here, so he wants to investigate. The Doctor and Ace meet Trevor Sigma, who is from the Galactic Center as a census taker, who's standing around and waiting for people in the middle of the night. And the Doctor mentions his college nickname was Theta Sigma, which of course made all the nerds have another debate if this was the Doctor's real name. It was an experimental time, guys. If you're gonna lose your minds about his name in 1988, just wait until he drops the half-human bomb in a few years. Anyway, the Mean Girl group, I guess, find the TARDIS too drab, so they paint it pink. Guys, have you looked around? Pink or blue, the TARDIS is the most lively-looking thing around here besides your hair. And the Doctor finds some bullet holes and decides it's time to get arrested. They try, but aren't, until everyone figures out that the Doctor and Ace don't need no stinking badges and are finally arrested. So the Doctor and Ace get taken to what looks like to be the same damn set as before, but rearranged. That's because this is a waiting zone rather than a prison, and here they meet Harold V, who used to be Harold F, but got his ass caught trying to contact another colony. Terra Omega. Son of a bitch, this show needs another Greek letter. Harold is a killjoy, or someone who isn't happy all the time, and he used to be the head joke writer for the leader around here. I wasn't gonna guess makeup artist Pancake Face. Everyone here needs a lesson in applying foundation. Anyway, they show the leader of this planet likes to tell lame jokes on slot machines for her prisoners, complete with laugh tracks, so try not to get it confused with an episode of The Big Bang Theory.
Did you hear about the killjoy who won an outing with the Happiness Patrol? He was tickled to death.
Bazinga.
I know that can be hard. The Doctor describes my videos.
It's awful. It's tasteless, smug, and worst of all, it's badly constructed.
Harold spills about all the stupid shit that's going on around here, which I don't have to explain to you because you've probably already figured it out, but he does let us know about the Kandy Man, who makes sweets and likes to play German World War II scientist on humans. The two of these things will be his whole deal, so we should be hanging with him pretty soon. Harold also tells us that there are 3 ways to die on Terra Alpha. The late show at the Forum, not to worry. We won't really be seeing this part since it got cut. A visit to the Kandy Man, or something else, which turns out to either be Firing Squad or Death by Fondant. So 4 ways. He was wrong. Get fucked, Cancer. We get introduced to Helen A and Joseph C. They who run this joint, but you figure out pretty quickly that Helen is in charge. Confusingly, because it isn't presented in any order that allows for the narrative to make much sense, some guy you've never seen before gets a pipe lowered on him, and they either boil or drown him in fondant. I say that because typically fondant isn't shown to be liquid in form, and you have to heat it in a double boiler so that it'll reach pourable consistency. It does make for a nice glaze this way. This dude gets it. We do get a shot of the Kandy Man, and I am absolutely in love. They call this process the Fondant Supreme, which I think needs a little bit of a marketing workshop. Turns out the guy that died is Harold's brother, so Helen decides to kill Harold with a shock of electricity through the space slot machine. Jackpot, and Ace loses her and the Doctor encourages it. Nice. The Doctor sees a go-kart and figures out that it's booby-trapped. He defuses it, and they look hilarious as they drive away. The show does some pretty quick cutaway shots, and then the go-kart breaks down. So Ace gets caught by the Happiness Patrol again and gets shipped off to do a Happiness Patrol audition while the Doctor drives away and the patrol shoots the walls. Seriously, nice aim. Ace bonds with a disgruntled patrol girl, and she lets Ace escape. The damn go-kart will never stop breaking down. Doctor, I sort of feel like you could have just walked where you wanted to go rather than fixing this lemon every 50 yards or so. The Doctor runs into Silas P., the wearer of skin, who tries to arrest the Doctor, but he's assisted by this harmonica playing guy that nobody seems to mind walking around the streets all night playing blues music. Yes, I know he changes the song when the patrol shows up, but he plays that shit loud and it echoes all over the place. Harmonica guy is another immigrant that was once a medical student, but now he's stuck here. The Doctor and Harmonica find the Kandy Man's laboratory and Gordon M., this sad sack of a human who's also the creator of the Kandy Man. The Kandy Man's voice is everything you could ever dream it to be.
Gilbert M!
No. Ace gets arrested again and finds out about the current demonstrations that apparently only happen at night and extremely silently, but also finds out about the indigenous mole people that live in the sewers. This fucking planet, man. The Kandy Man is going to experiment on the Doctor and Harmonica and acts fully psycho. He likes to make sweets that when humans eat them, their brains can't handle it and they die. So pretty much French chocolate, and the Doctor makes the Kandy Man tell him pretty much everything, including how to reverse the fondant surprise, so get ready to see that come back up. And we get to see that they went so far as to add wires to the back of the Kandy Man. I love you guys. The doctor pisses off the Kandy Man, and he knocks over a bottle of lemonade and gets stuck to the ground. This whole sequence is just the best. Anyway, the doctor and harmonica escape with more dad jokes.
Sweet dreams.
They escape into the pipes that carry the fondant and deduce that there is crystallized sugar above them. Dum Dum plays his harmonica, and the doctor has to tell him to stop or the sugar above them will kill them. Ace argues with this cranky bitch, and they arrest her patrol buddy. The Kandy Man loses his ever-loving shit on Gordon to get his ass unstuck. The doctor and harmonica meet the mole people, and Ace and her buddy bond a little more. The patrol takes her buddy away to kill her when the mole people help Ace escape. The doctor meets back up with the census guy and quickly turns the tables on him. Harmonica goes his way, and the doctor and the census guy go to meet Helen A and her doormat husband. The doctor interrogates her about the disappearances, but she gets a call and nopes out. The doctor isn't cool with that, so he just barges into the room anyway. After yelling at her for a bit, he leaves and steals some more lemonade. I haven't mentioned Fifi yet because I wanted to give this little weird puppet its due. This thing is Helen's pet, and she loves the shit out of it. This fucking thing is terrible to look at, both because it's a puppet and because it's stupid looking, but the truth is, in a story where I love the Kandy Man for his campiness, I love this damn thing too. If the whole episode had just been the Kandy Man and Fifi, I think we would be looking at this episode completely differently. They release Fifi into the pipes to sniff out Ace and the mole people, but Ace throws one of her bombs at it. Don't worry, Fifi is fine. Nothing a few bandages won't fix. The Kandy Man is still stuck, and I guess he's dying because he needs to keep moving, otherwise his candy joints start sticking too. The doctor is on his way back to see him again when he finds out about a couple of snipers. Now, I'm not sure why these snipers didn't see him go into the Kandy Man's lair before, but it's all good because the doctor talks them out of it anyway, no matter how much they like their guns. He goes back to the Kandy Man and tells him to reverse the flow of the fondant that is about to kill Ace's friend, and he will unstick him. They agree. The Kandy Man does, Ace's friend is okay, and the doctor sticks the Kandy Man back to the floor. It's hilarious! And the doctor sees that Ace is going to do her audition because of a poster they just put up. Helen sends Fifi back down into the pipes, maybe she doesn't love him as much as I thought, and decides to put down the silent demonstration that seems to be growing in number. The doctor sings as time goes by while waiting for Ace to die, or I guess save her, which he does, by laughing with an impromptu group of people that just show up. They go into the pipe and Fifi howls like forever. I'd be annoyed by it, but I sat through Poppy saying meow, so it's fine. The doctor has harmonica play some notes to make Fifi howl at the right frequency, and the sugar falls on him. I don't know how the Kandy Man got free because either I passed out every time I had to watch this episode at the same moment, or they never showed it. I guess Gordon was nice this time when the doctor shows back up and they introduce Ace. The Kandy Man is such a villain that he's easily manipulated into allowing Ace to heat up a hot poker and get blown in the face by fire from the oven. He f***s off into the pipes, the doctor and Ace hook back up with harmonica, and the mole people turn on the fondant. Well, there goes the only thing that I was really interested in. I will miss you, sir. Doormat and Gordon decide to f*** off the planet together, and we find out that a bunch of factories have fallen. Helen decides it might be time to go too, but then finds out Doormat took the escape pod, most likely to be gay with Gordon. Helen tries to escape while her regime falls around her, but the doctor shows that it's not just Salty who has bars.
You can't get away, Helen A.
They bark an argument, and we get the moral shoved down our throats. For reasons that make no sense, he lets Helen leave, but she sees Fifi dead, so she breaks down crying. And this seems to be punishment enough for the doctor for her full scroll of murdered people. Everyone has their goodbye moment, and Ace repaints the TARDIS because nobody told her it'll go ahead and do that itself. The end. Thank God that was only 3 episodes long. Let's get into the things that I liked. I liked the Kandy Man, fuck you very much. Look, Doctor Who is a campy show. There's a million dumbass things going on in this show every single week. It's just one of the reasons why we love it. I appreciate the idea of swinging for the fences and trying to pull something like this off. Hey, as someone who makes content with the smallest budget imaginable, I kinda understand the effort. Like, you could be writing your script and all of a sudden an idea comes into your brain and you have no idea how you're gonna try and pull it off. Like, say, trying to put yourself in the Interstellar Song Contest and having Dugadoo disqualified due to vulgarity. You don't know how to do that, and you don't know how you're gonna, but that's the fun part. A being made of candy that experiments on people? F*** your Doctor Who, you can barely pull off ants. But the old boys at the BBC said, we're gonna try anyway. And they swang for the fences and hit one hell of a camp home run. This thing is so hilarious and angry and shitty and has the most amazingly bad squeaky voice. No, the Doctor doesn't need to take him seriously. That's why he sticks him in place with lemonade. I mean, the fucking thing has pineapple private parts. How are people criticizing this? The rest of the episode sucks, admittedly, but every time this thing is walking around like the most delicious Frankenstein, I was enraptured and wanted to see more. Yes, I totally understand why non-fans of Doctor Who would have hated it and thought it was dumb, but they don't get this show, and this motherfucker isn't for them. This is a face of a villain that only a Doctor Who fan could love, and I love him. So fuck you Bassets for complaining about it when you should have partnered with the BBC and made $1 trillion on a candy version of this glorious beast. I liked the Doctor in this episode in his continuing manipulative turn. He was a little all over the place, ranging from conniving to scream laughing to yelling to grabbing a gun and putting it to his head. But McCoy handles all of this with grace, and you never really feel like he's all that concerned about what's going on. He promises Ace he's going to make these people sad, and he leaves Helen A crying at her dead dog at the end. Looking at it as someone that knows the future and how he ends up with Ace and the things that he does with Fenric, it's a bit fun to watch him do his thing. McCoy is fun to watch and looks to really be enjoying himself. Playing the Doctor as a bit of an enigma in how he plays each situation, I just wish his talents weren't wasted on this stinker of an episode. Things I didn't like. I didn't like the aesthetic of this episode. Sorry guys, I know you had to work around your budget, but I was really confused by the sets. Like, sure, I've read about the differences of opinions by the writer and the showrunner on this one, how they wanted to do it over several weeks rather than just one night, or how the director wanted to film it in black and white and do noir shots. I'm really not sure how he read this script that is supposed to be about how fake and unsettling the forced happiness of this colony is and thought, you know what, we need the darkest sets possible. Look, I pretty much hated Wish World, but at least the fakeness of that felt a little more real than this does, and both of those episodes have enough in common for me to see some similarities. Look, I'm not saying you have to go full Truman Show or Pleasantville, although the first draft of this script sure sounds like it would have been close in an aesthetic way. Sure, they paint the TARDIS pink to brighten it up, make sure it isn't blue or whatever, but the TARDIS is the brightest thing on this set either way. Look, use the same sets, but give it some neon paint or whatever, and this episode isn't so boring to look at. This episode doesn't pull off the happy all the time thing. I know it was a budget issue, and if they had done it the way they originally set out to do it, it may have come off better, but none of the actors are pulling off the key part of this episode. Helen kinda pulls it off in some scenes because the actress was trying to do a Margaret Thatcher caricature, but everyone else seems to have read a different script. Sometimes they're bitchy, sometimes psychotic, most of the time sad. I sorta never saw anyone trying to act fake happy because they were scared, which is honestly an important part in driving home the point of this thing. I really got annoyed with Helen A and the Happiness Patrol. First of all, there is way too many of these pink-haired girls for me to keep track of. They all pretty much look one of two ways. Either they're the young buddy to Ace, or they look nearly identical to Helen A. I couldn't tell Daisy K from Priscilla P, or any of the rest of them. And while Helen was certainly the most interesting of the bunch, she was grating as hell, and the big plan to play it like Margaret Thatcher was fine, but it really wasn't exactly that biting considering you were really just poking at a stiff upper lip culture. I don't live over there, so I get that this really isn't geared at me, but I would really be interested to know what those in the UK thought about it and if it landed as biting commentary, but for me, it really didn't. Plus, this woman has quite literally murdered thousands in her population, but you're gonna just let her off with being sad because her dog died? Like, sorry bro, this woman is f***ing Pol Pot. She doesn't get time served because you killed her pet. And maybe the mole people ripped her limb from limb and feasted on her remains, but unfortunately we aren't told any of that. I guess she'll stand trial for her crimes, but I sorta wanted to know that and nobody says anything. Things I didn't understand. I don't understand why this dude is constantly walking around playing his harmonica. Dude, what are you doing? Yeah, you're an immigrant here, but you've been here for some unforeseen amount of time, and if I heard you correctly, you came here on vacation? The f*** is coming to Terra Alpha on vacation? Even if the rest of the colonies don't know what's going on here on Terra Alpha, the only thing this planet seems to have going for it is a lot of streets and some very run-down looking buildings. I think you decided to pay for the Terra Alpha excursion on your space cruiser and didn't make it back to the ship on time and got your ass left. But even still, how are you still walking around at night playing the blues at volumes that would have everyone here very angry with you because they're trying to sleep? And since you seem to be the only one that knows how to play harmonica around here, I don't understand how you haven't got your ass arrested for playing the blues. I don't understand why you don't have prisons. Yes, it's said in the episode that prisons aren't used because they make people sad, but guys, people openly know about the Kandy Man, about the people disappearing, and Helen has dudes going out like creepers in the night, pranking people into arrests. Like, who gives a shit? Have a prison. You seem to be aware and adopted the fascist lead by fear under the guise of happiness, so why the waiting areas? The "you're free to leave, but I'll shoot you" lady doesn't make much sense, and Ace rightfully points out that those rules are just like a prison, so just call it that and make people more scared to be happy all the time. Call it a bouncy house if you want, but making it open air is confusing to me and is one of the reasons why your regime finally went down. And at the rate you go around arresting people in this story, it's frequent enough to think you might need a more secure overflow area. If you're new around here, let me explain this part to you. See, I get that my reviews are pretty much just nitpicking, but you haven't seen in my brain. Up here, everything gets questioned and criticized. So I gotta have a filter, and that filter gets its own section called Nitpick Corner!
Yeah, delicious.
Wait until we're in another section.
Dude, why did you start playing the harmonica here? Okay, they escape the Kandy Man, they escape in the Fondant surprise pipes, which are conveniently large enough for a fully grown adult to walk around in. You two taste the crystallized sugar all around you that is invisible due to budget, and then you whip out your harmonica and start playing it? Never mind the fact that you may not have understood that loud noises could trigger an apparent mountain of sugar on top of you, but even when you and the doctor are talking, you can hear the echo in the pipes. You playing any music at all is not only loud as it's also reverberating and carrying all over the place, letting your captors know that you are in the pipes. And buddy, they turn these things on every night to kill people. What the are you doing?
Name's Ace.
I can't do anything's like find my list now, can I?
Damn, dude. I guess this guy is high enough up on the ladder to be this much of an open prick and not be worried about getting arrested. This was a tough watch. Now, I'll be honest and say that every time the Kandy Man was on screen, I was interested. The guy was just the kind of campy that I like in some of my episodes of Doctor Who, and he hit all the right notes for me. And the Doctor had some scenes that were fun, but they were scattered in between one of the dullest and out there stories that didn't accomplish what it wanted to. I appreciate they really took a chance here, but it missed, and they looked pretty foolish doing it. I give the Happiness Patrol a 3. Again, it isn't the worst I've ever seen out of this show, and I think the Kandy Man gets a bad rap for looking the way he does because people didn't understand that sometimes creativity isn't perfect but can still be beautiful, and because he was saddled in this piece of shit episode. The reason it really sucks is because of everything else. So we're keeping up the streak with the 25th season of Doctor Who, and that means next time we get the episode that aired during the 25th anniversary of the show and my very first Cyberman story, The Silver Nemesis. I have linked it in the description, so go watch it and be ready for that next time. Hey, have you subscribed? I think you should. Subscribe, like, and comment. Those 3 things every single YouTuber is going to tell you to do. That's because that's what feeds the algorithm. Feed the algorithm for me. And as always, there's no point in being grown up if you can't be salty ham sometimes. What? All right. Thank you, everybody. Thank you. And thank you, Russell Trench, for being the 100th subscriber. Oh yeah, that too.